Hello and welcome back to my karting channel. Today this was the race for Team F1. So the format is a 10-minute qualifying, and then drivers are then paired into teams of 2 based on their fastest lap time. So the fastest is paired with the slowest, the second fastest with the second slowest, and so on and so forth. So I qualified first, so I was then partnered with the person who finished in last in qualifying. So my aim really was to just stay in first and try and just obviously get as many points for my team as possible. Then, as you can tell, the team with the most points between them will then be crowned the winners. So it doesn't matter if you finish first, the person in second has a good teammate and then ends up getting a lot of points. They could full well take the first spot on the podium. So even though you finish first in the race, you might then only finish second on the podium, but the lights go red here. But I just want to say before the race starts, thank you to everyone who has subscribed, and if you're new around here, especially if you're doing the BIKC regionals at Liverpool, definitely check out some of my other videos of the smaller track, because it'll obviously help you out if you're doing the regionals. So yeah, definitely check those videos out. Back to the race, and I get a decent start. I was just aiming really to just get, because I'm on the outside here, I just aimed to just cut off the overtake as soon as possible, which I did. But I'd say this race was one of my most physically demanding races I've ever actually driven, because the driver behind me, full credit to him, he pushed me for about 25 minutes of this race. I had to defend practically every single lap off of him because he was rapid. And you'll be able to see through here, I go through the defensive line, just make sure he doesn't go for the dive bomb, because it's a very favourable position for a dive bomb. You can see there with the shadow, his cart is right there, so I place my cart in the middle of the track so he can't go either way. Get a bit of a slidey exit out of there, which wouldn't have done me any favours, and just obviously there's a bit of a gap there where I can drive more attackive. And yeah, as you can see, the pack's pretty drastically, obviously within a lap it's pretty spread out, and me and the driver behind me, we actually created a massive gap to the carts behind us. But then because we were battling away, they eventually caught up at the end, near the end of the race, which I was stressing about, because I knew obviously my car, they did a fleet check with all the carts, so all the carts were obviously at the same advantage for the BIKC. So they're all within 0.5 seconds of each other now, which is what you want to see, because some of the carts were absolutely horrendous. Like, they were 1 or 2 seconds off pace, which you don't want if you're doing a competition. So I'm glad that they have all been fixed. As you can see, I'm just going a bit defensive through there. You can obviously see the driver behind me, obviously in my helmet, but you can't see it on the GoPro. So I was just going defensive. Didn't have to cut off the dive bomb there, sliding around everywhere. Don't know what happened really, but the kart was very cold at this point. I was just sat on the grid for a while. I cut that bit out because I was sat there for so long. As you can see, it goes for the move, but I cut that off. So I kept my position in P1, and yeah, I was just going defensive through here because I knew he was on my tail. And you get to see him again. You didn't just see him there, but I saw him on my helmet. You see him there. He's all over the back of me, pushing me through some of these straights, trying to just get the better exit around there and place my car in the middle of the track. Again, like last lap, and you'll see this quite often. I'm placing my car in the middle of the track, which is what you need to do to defend. And because this race is quite a long race, I'll just dip in and out with my voiceovers, because I can't be doing a voiceover for the whole 30 minutes. So when something happens, I'll just dip in with my voiceover and then just dip out and then just carry on doing that for the rest of the race. So I hope you enjoy the video. Make sure you watch till the end just to see how I defend.
question why. I'm just sad to say I'm sorry, so lie and pretend that you're okay. Swear that you will stay. Keep trying for one day. Whoa, I'm sick of all these lies. Don't care if I capsize. There's nothing left for me to hide. Don't wanna live a lie. Too many lows, too many highs. Too many things to criticize. So I leave it all behind. Don't wanna live a lie. Sick of all these lies. Care if I capsize. Oh no. I'm headed to the bottom of the bottle. I've been drowning, I've been floating away. Every other dollar that I got and that I probably went and used it away. I ain't fucking okay. I ain't liking it, babe. I don't even wanna talk. I'm just smoking my haze. I've been stuck in my ways. I've been stuck in for days. I've been staring at the clock as the radio plays. I'm enslaved. Rolling another, I'm stuck in my seat from the whole control of my speech. Yeah, I've been trying to get off this couch for a minute and a whole damn week. No kidding, I'm skinny, I cannot eat. Got a million motherfuckers that depend on me. Yeah, every friend in my family. From a girl, every fan I meet myself. I'm too on and I'm too off. Come down, make new thoughts. Like jumping off of that rooftop. Hold my devil that I do nothing to make moves based on my mood drops. Like who frost? Like who frost? It's yo, steadily killing me, running my brain full of shame. I don't wanna lose it. Up for the stage, trying to run my brain. Sun coming out of that rain. I'm saying really not tame. I'ma never slow down. I'ma never be late. Stuck inside this prison, inside this cage. It's taking over on me. I'm a slave. Ripping harder, more less. Never stop, no rest. Till the stress is breath in my chest. Till it's diamonds wrapping my neck. Progress to a god from a goddamn mess. Hopeless, more tests. More blessed. Dug deep down trying to find my best. Find a beast and a killer conquest. I'm next. I'm too on till I'm too on. Calm down, break new thoughts. Like jumping off of that rooftop. Hold my devil that I do nothing to make moves based on my mood drops. Like who frost? Like who frost? It's yours. Steadily killing me, running my brain full of shame. I don't wanna lose it. I'm full of stage, trying to find my pain. I'm still sun coming out of that rain. Not saying really not tame. I'ma never slow down. I'ma never be late. Stuck inside this prison, inside this cage. It's taking over on me.
So as you can see, I've been defending for almost half the race at this point. I go for the middle of the track here. I leave the door open a little bit. The cart behind me comes through, makes a little bit of contact, which actually ends up in him receiving a warning because it was my corner, and obviously he didn't want to back out, and yeah, that ended up in him getting a warning. But I'm just obviously keeping my head on, just defending through some of these corners, just parking the cart really on the apex, just making sure the cart behind me does not get past, because I knew that my teammate, because I had my intercom, I was speaking to my dad, I knew that my teammate wasn't exactly doing the best of races in terms of team, because he was on 0 points because he didn't finish in the top 10. You see a bit of a bad exit. I squeeze him into the barrier, he has to back out, otherwise that would have ended up in a bit of a muddle. So I basically force him into backing out, which helps me in the end, because the driver behind me actually said he starts to back off now because he received the warning. But obviously he's still attacking, just not as obviously feisty as he was before, because we were going side by side along some of those straights and through the double right. So obviously we were still attacking, but just not as obviously as feisty as before. So I was obviously still having to defend through some of these corners, just looking around, seeing where he is. You can see here going the defensive route, making the corner. Obviously a bit of a bad exit from me, but because he starts to back off a little bit, I have the freedom now of practically just attacking, just trying to push on, try and get as big of a gap as possible, because then once I create a gap, there's not really a point of catching up really unless you are going like the speed of lightning. So that was my aim at this point. So coming round here on the final straight, you will to see in a second, checkered flag is waved, and that is another win under my belt. Very happy with this win. It's probably one of my, obviously, hardest races, and probably the toughest races. There's a yellow flag. I'm buzzing, because that was a proper battle. I was knackered. You see here, driver behind me, give him a little fist bump, because all respect to him, because he drove incredibly well. He pushed me to the limits, and you could say I slept that night. So just wanted to say big ups to him, because yeah, he's just great driver. It's not often you see a driver that competitive anymore. So, and if you can see ahead in the pit lane, that is Liam, my instructor when I was in intermediates. Obviously buzzing for me to see how much I've progressed over the last year. So yeah, definitely subscribe to see more videos in the future. Like, share, comment, and I'll see you in the next video.